damn, your voice sounds sexy. You sexy man, you. You're sexy and you got a nice butt.
Yo. This will never be on the radio.
Start now. Episode 52, yes, 52 of Cagno Radio begins right now. I have a new guest today. Now, this person I know, she works in the service industry, so I see her quite often. We're not going to say where she works because that's not why she's on here, but she's the queen of sass. Her name is Eden, and let me just be clear. You are not a stripper, though. You are in the service industry, but sometimes when people say that, you automatically think stripper.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely not a stripper. Don't have the body or the confidence to be a stripper.
No, you know what, though? It's all right.
Yeah, I like to make my money with my clothes on.
Okay.
It just gives me a little more pride in what I do, I guess.
Yes, exactly. All right, so she's somebody that I've known for a while, and she has listened to the podcast and said the other day to me, out of nowhere, I want to come on.
Yep.
So I said, you can come on. So we're going to have her on today, so thanks for being here. I got to say thank you to everybody who's been listening this week. So many people are downloading the podcast and also going to the website, calcagnoradio.com, so thank you for that. Again, if there's a lot of sort of hoops to jump through on SoundCloud, then you can just go over to Cagno Radio, CALCAGNO radio.com. That's where you can go and you can download and listen to the podcast there without jumping through any hoops. You don't have to create an account or anything like that. But yeah, SoundCloud's usually the easiest way for most people. But if you don't want to go that route, don't do that route. I don't really care either way, but thank you for the people who have been listening. We are posting usually 2 of these a week. So if you have any questions about that, you can email me, calcagnoradio@gmail.com. So I was living in the Stone Age last week. I didn't have internet or TV for the entire weekend.
Oh, that sounds miserable. I don't think I could survive.
Yeah, well, yeah. So now I have kids, and I have 2 kids. They're going to be 13 and 11. How old? Do you want to talk about your daughter at all?
She's 9.
Okay, so she's 9.
Mm-hmm.
Is she addicted to her phone?
No.
Okay.
She doesn't have a phone.
God, you're a good mother.
We have very strict foundations at home, like rules, no TV.
What?
She has homework. She has reading. We've had a huge struggle with getting her to where she is right now. So my main focus is keeping that going, like her improving on her reading and her math levels. So during the week, if she gets all of her homework done, we'll watch like an episode on Netflix or like do something fun so that she doesn't feel like it's just constant homework all the time.
Like so a reward.
But we don't watch TV during the week. She has no phone. She has a tablet at my grandma or at her grandma's house.
Yeah.
But when she's with me, she knows like very minimal electronics. Wow. But it's because she won't do anything. If she has her tablet, guess what? Nothing's being done. I can't even talk to her.
Well, that's exactly what we deal with sometimes at this house, right? Now, we're not the complete opposite of what you said. We like to have, some sort of rules with screen time. Mm-hmm. But I didn't realize how absolutely addicted I was, my wife was, my kids were to TV and the internet until it all of a sudden went out. So what it would do is it would come on for maybe 20 minutes. We had to reset everything, plug it in everything, and then it would die. Dude, I'm not even joking. So what night was it? It was Friday night. I had just worked. I'd fill in for Blaine on the Blaine Fowler Morning Show on 96.3 in the morning. Then I had to work the next day on DVD. So I was going to be there at 6 in the morning on Saturday morning to be on the radio. My son and daughter both had the balls to knock on my door at midnight because they were staying up late to do whatever. Mm-hmm. Now I hear bang, bang, bang on the door, and all of a sudden they're like, the internet's out again. My son's trying to play this Fortnite game. It's like a video game, and my daughter's trying to watch something on YouTube. I'm sure it's someone doing something that she really wishes she could do in real life, like go to the mall. The other day, she was watching on her iPad someone vlogging as they were walking around the mall.
That's
like
hilarious.
That's it. Like they're walking around the mall with a camera, and my daughter's watching them walk around the mall with a camera. So anyways, it ended up coming back on. But throughout the weekend, one thing that I did that I haven't done in a long time is I went and rented movies.
Oh, yeah.
So I went to the library in Rochester and rented movies. Now, you want to feel like the lowest life form, try to check out of the library without a book. Like you look like like a derelict. Like you look like you can't read. So I ended up getting a couple movies. We got Hunger Games like saga because we watched that this weekend, which was good. And then I was looking for Three Amigos, but I can't find it. Have you ever seen that movie, or are you too young?
Who's
she's
in
too
it?
young. Oh, she's too young. How old are you? Let's be honest.
I'm 30. I just turned 30 in December.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Yeah, so you're quite a bit younger than me. I'm 41 years old. So
Okay.
I'm old enough to be your creepy neighbor babysitter. I wouldn't do anything like sexual. I don't mean that, but just creepy.
Right.
Just the creepy neighbor. Okay, so
The one that lingers.
Yeah, exactly. Watches everybody by the pool. Hey,
Yeah.
what's up? Hey,
All your
guys.
friends are over, and you're like, stay away from that guy. Makes you so uncomfortable. He just looks at you.
He's totally harmless, but he will stare a little longer. He'll lock eyes longer than he should be. No, Steve Martin, Martin Short. Do you know who any of these people are?
I know who they are. Yeah.
Okay.
What's it about? I think maybe if you told me what it was about, I might be able to.
Okay, so
figure out
these
if I've
three.
seen it.
Okay, so this is going to be the worst description of a movie.
Okay.
They are 3 Hollywood actors from the silent movie days. Wait for it; it gets even better.
Okay.
And they get sent to like Mexico. They think they're shooting a movie, but really they're fighting against a cartel there. It's a comedy, so it's funny, but they think that they're doing something different than they are. So that's sort of the bit of it. But yeah, they're so clueless. They're actors who think that they're somehow saving the world on a movie screen, but really they're actually fighting this person. But it's pretty funny.
So it's kind of like your time, Tropical Thunder.
I've never seen Tropical Thunder.
Oh, it's such a stupid movie, but it's the same thing. Like it really is the dumbest movie ever. But it's got
Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah. And I can't ever remember his name. Ben Stiller?
Ben Stiller, Zoolander.
Ben Stiller, yes.
Yes.
And they are like live.
They're
They're in the desert, or not the
jungle.
desert, the jungle. Thank you. They're in the jungle, and they're like thinking they're shooting this movie, but it's all like one guy actually gets blown up, and they're like, "Whoa, these features in this movie are awesome." I thought this was like a really shitty film, but like they put a lot more money into this thing than we thought they would.
Oh, so they think these are all special effects, and they're like, oh god, are they like total actors too, where they think they're like the world revolves around them?
Yes. So like the whole thing is just it's just so stupid.
Is that one that you're going to have to share with your daughter when she's old enough and she's done well enough in her reading that she's allowed to watch movies? Will you share that with her? Because we've been trying to get movies like and this is the thing, I don't even know where you get movies anymore. And I mean this sincerely. Now, before we have somebody who listens to this podcast that works at Hollywood Video. Mm-hmm. Every time I bring up going to the library or that you can't rent movies, she sends me an email. It's like, well, don't forget, Hollywood Video has the best. We have the classics. There's not a Hollywood Video near here.
I don't even know where there is a Hollywood Video.
Yeah, there's a lot of Hollywood Videos. There really is. You can Google them, but there's some on like Gratiot. There's one in like Kego Harbor.
Oh, okay.
But I live in Rochester. That's not,
Right.
it's not convenient for me to drive 35 minutes to try to find Three Amigos.
Right.
So we've been trying to like show the kids movies like Happy Gilmore.
Oh, okay,
and like Billy Madison and movies like that where there's not overtly it's sexual that you have to worry about.
Right.
You don't realize till you're a parent, and you'll realize it as your daughter gets older. Like you'll watch a movie, and you'll be like, oh, this movie wasn't so bad. Oh, there's boobs in it. Oh my god, we gotta fast forward. We gotta fast forward.
Yep.
And you're pausing it and you're fast forwarding it to make sure that you don't show your kid some terrible things. Although, what were you watching at 9, 12, or were you living a sheltered life?
Oh. I lived a very sheltered life. My dad watched rated R movies, but like my mom, we weren't allowed in the living room. We had to go outside and play while my dad was watching those videos. And sometimes we'd be in our bedrooms and we'd sneak out and try and watch. And my mom's like, "Get back in your room! Like you can't be out here watching this." So like growing up, we played outside. We didn't watch TV. We watched TV on Saturday mornings.
Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Oxford.
Okay.
And my grandma lived in Oxford, and she had a bunch of property, and we'd go to my grandma's house and play in the swamp and climb trees and play in the pool, and that was our childhood. TV was not a big thing in our house. We didn't have cable. My dad got cable after all of us moved out, and my daughter was born. So 9 years ago, my dad got cable. So it was like we had Saturday morning cartoons, and that was about it. And
do you think there's something better about those times? Because I'll tell you right now, my kids had off. Now, I mind you, it was winter break. it's been raining all week. Just so everybody understands, we're taping this on Wednesday morning. It's still raining the rest of the week. We'll post this on Saturday night, by the way. So by the time people hear this, it'll be Saturday. It's going to be rainy the next couple of days. Winter break, like my kids on snow days don't have any clue what to do. And I mean that. Like legitimately, they get a snow day, they're high-fiving each other, they're actually getting along for a moment, and then they're like, hey, Dad, where are you going to take us tomorrow? Yeah. It's like, dude, I ain't taking you anywhere.
Right.
Like, you can grab a sled, grab a friend, and go do something, but I'm not going to be your playmate for the day.
Right.
But that's the thing. But also, I think there's part of it that we don't really have a lot of kids around here. Like, when you were growing up, didn't it seem like everyone had a million kids and there was a million people to play with, or no?
Well, in our little, it's not a subdivision, but it's kind of a subdivision.
Right.
Like,
it's Oxford, so it's like the middle of nowhere.
Right. Well, we lived in like the village, so we have like houses 40 feet apart, but we had I'm going to say probably 8 kids in the neighborhood, but that was like the whole neighborhood congregating together. So like we didn't have a lot of kids. And I have 2 brothers, so 3 of us made up a pretty big chunk of our neighborhood kids. So like we had 2 kids that lived across the street and their cousins would come over, and that's when we had, oh my gosh, we have enough people to play football.
Right,
like,
exactly.
So we always just had each other. So like,
but it worked out.
Yeah. The older my brothers got, like we went to private school too. So like,
look at you. I'm learning so much about you.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I almost feel like for a moment, the job that you do, you're actually a human being doing it. Yeah, just for the record, I'm not going to say where she works, but she's somebody that I would, and this sounds really weird to say in this context, and I don't think I've ever told you this off of the air, but I would say you're a friend of mine. When we see each other, I say hello. I saw you at Chipotle that one night. We say hello. Yeah. Like, treat the people that work at places that you go to every single day like human beings. Like, that's all I have to say. Like, I don't want to get you in trouble, so don't say anything more than what you've already said, because you have said nothing wrong. But you know what? The people that do the jobs at the service industry, whether they're your waiter, whether you're your server, whether they're your barista, whether they're your valet, whatever it is, treat them like human beings.
Yeah, that would be nice. That would be really nice.
Because they are human beings.
We are. We aren't robots just like thrown behind the register to like wait on you hand and foot and bend over backwards. We will bend over backwards for you because that's part of our job, but that's not something that I feel you should expect.
And don't just automatically assume that the person who's working as a server at, Big Boy or work, whatever, is like, that's the only job they can do. Right. Like, they're not slumming it because they're slinging corned beef hash at the local, Denny's or whatever it is. Yeah. Do they even have Denny's anymore, or did I just totally date myself?
No, they have a Denny's on the way to the airport. I've seen one. I've seen that one once. I'm sure they have them other places.
I'm just saying, here's the thing. Get to know the people that you deal with every day. And honestly, you might find out something about them that you share in common, or there's some sort of commonality that you can, speak to them on a different level other than, hey, you know what? I need more bacon on this. And I'm also going to not tip well because your service was slow because the kitchen was taking too long.
Right.
You're sexy and you got a nice butt. That's your fantastic message. Now give me a damn call back. Bye.
Cagno Radio. Episode 52 of Cagno Radio continues now with my friend Eden, who's on today, filling in for, nobody, because we have a different guest all the time. She's here to talk about whatever we're talking about right now. Someone did a survey of the sexiest accents in the world. Sexiest accents in the world. They came up with the top 10. Let me see if you can guess what number 1 is.
Australian.
Australian is not. It's
then
number
British?
7. Australian 7. British is number 1.
British.
Yeah. British is number 1.
Yeah.
Where do you think Canadian fell on this list?
I don't think it made it.
It didn't. It didn't.
I just don't want to hear after every other word.
I know. It's so funny because I worked in Canada and worked for a Canadian company. That's one of the accents I can honestly say I can pick out of a crowd.
Oh, for sure.
But I also wouldn't say I find it very sexy. So all the Canadian listeners, we have a ton of Canadian listeners, just so you know, because a lot of those people followed me when I left ADNX.
Okay.
I have no problem with Canadians. It's just as far as accents go, I'm not a big fan. Now, I will say a lot of people aren't a fan of my accent because I have a very harsh Midwest accent.
Yeah.
You do too.
I do.
Yeah, I mean, we have friends of ours that live in Colorado, and they always said to me, this is what you sound like. Hey, Adam, get out of the bathroom. I need to take a crap. Like, that's what I sound. Super nasally, super like, yeah, so blah, blah, blah. So that's what I sound like. Yeah, exactly. All right, so English accent comes in at number 1. 17% of people said that was what they loved the most, the sexiest accent. I think that works for guys and girls.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so, I mean, you see a girl with an English accent, it's sexy, although they usually have bad teeth to go along with it. Yeah. And, but a guy with an English accent, I think most women would say was sexy. French comes in at number 2, Italian at number 3.
Okay.
I don't think the Italian one is that great, and I'm Italian. I think the Italian accent, it's very hard to understand what they're saying in English when they have an Italian accent. I think that's the thing. Whenever you're talking about accents, if it's hard to understand... When you're like
sexy, not sexy. If I have to like squint and turn my ear to listen to you and try and decipher what's coming out of your mouth, I'm not attracted.
Come again? I feel like you can only ask twice what was that? And then they say it and you're like, okay, I'm just going to go ahead and nod. I have no clue what they said.
I do it all the time.
At your job?
Oh my gosh, yes. And I don't stop at 2. If I can't understand you, I'm going to ask you to repeat it 15 times if I have to. And normally the biggest issue is not only do they have a thick accent, but they're very quiet.
Oh, right.
So they're talking in a very thick accent and then they're like, can I get extra? And you're like, I'm sorry, what? I can't. Can you shout that at me, please?
My biggest issue that I run into when it's not about accents, but I run into it when someone's got like a speech impediment or like a lisp. I find that I sort of make this squinty, like I'm really interested face, but I feel like it comes across so condescending, and that's not my goal, right? Like that's not my goal, but I think I'm sort of helping him. Like I have a friend of mine who's a stutterer. He has a terrible stutter.
Yeah.
But doesn't stutter when he sings. Did you know that's a thing?
Yeah. It's a comfort thing.
Yeah.
The more comfortable you are with the person, the less it shows.
Oh, really? Because this guy, we've known him forever, and he's a stutterer. He has a tough time, with stuttering. Mm-hmm. So, like, when he talks and you don't know him, you're constantly trying to finish his sentences for him, help him through it, whatever. But once you get to know him, you're just like, okay, cool. That's just kind of his thing. Mm-hmm. And so you just, like, let him go, and he'll finish his sentence. But one time we were at this bachelor party at a Korean karaoke bar. Yes, that's a thing.
Okay.
And he started to sing, no stutter, and had a beautiful voice, which I was shocked by.
Yeah, that I've heard. Like Ozzy Osbourne, however he talks, no one can understand him.
Right, yeah,
But then he gets behind the microphone and you're like, oh, that's what he's saying. He should just sing when he talks on radio stations and interviews. You just sing your answers for me, please, so that I can understand what you're saying to me.
On the same token, with my friend who's got a great voice, I'm always surprised when you hear someone sing and they have a nice voice. Because most people think they can sing and can't.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
But then, yeah, that's me too. But then when you hear somebody who's got like a really pretty singing voice, you're like, wow. Like I think I'm a little jealous of people who have good singing voices. Because I can carry a tune, but not a great singer. Like, you wouldn't be like, wow, he's the John Mayer of our time.
Oh, it's cool. I'm the Adele of our time.
Do you sing at karaoke bars?
No. Oh, my gosh, I have to get so drunk to sing at a karaoke bar. I have, like, the worst stage fright ever. Like, we went to a karaoke bar once, and everyone's like, oh, come on, get up there and sing. Come on, you can sing. And I'm like, But then you get like 6 shots in me. I'm like, grab the microphone. I'm dancing. Yeah. I'm singing Celine Dion. Yeah. Like my heart's going to just pop out of my chest.
My heart will go on. They say Irish is number 4 when it comes to sexiest accents. Where are you at on Irish?
Can't say I've heard a lot of them, but we had a couple customers that had Irish Scottish accent. I'm not quite sure which.
They're pretty close in my mind. Now, those of people, again, and here's the other thing, and I know you think I'm bragging about this. We have people from other countries that listen. I don't know how they found us. Like, we're talking like Hong Kong, Russia, Ireland. Like, we do have people. I'm sure the people in Ireland are like, they're nothing the same. You know what I mean?
Right.
I feel like the accent of like the northern, like the way we speak, and the southerners, we think they sound really different. Mm-hmm. But like to most people, they would say, well, that's just an American accent. That's the same way I feel about Scottish and Irish. So Spanish comes in at number 5, a Spanish accent. Scottish at number 6. Australian, which we talked about before, is number 7. And then American. American comes in. 4% of people that they surveyed said is the sexiest accent.
Those are probably other Americans because they're like, I can't understand anybody else, so I'm just going to vote American.
People speak English?
Right. You have an accent, so that automatically means you're not speaking English.
Right, yes.
Like, you have a British accent. I can understand you, but you're not speaking English.
I like when people are like, why don't they learn English better? And it's like, dude, my neighbor is Romanian. Mm-hmm. He speaks 6 languages. Now, I will say when he speaks English, he has an accent. And every once in a while, we'll just totally just demolish a word. And he'll have to say to me, is that the right word? And I'll say, no, you should say it more like this. Mm-hmm. But the fact that this guy knows 6 languages and I know 1, barely.
Right.
Like, you got to give these people some credit. Like, they're doing the best they can. Drop me off in Japan and see how I do.
Right?
Right?
You just make clucking noises and hope someone does something for you.
They say Brazilian comes in at number 9. I don't know that I would recognize a Brazilian accent.
Yeah, me either.
And then Japanese at number 2, or excuse me, at number 10 with 2% of people saying that they like the Japanese accent. I feel like the only Japanese accent that I ever hear is like frat boys making fun of Asians.
Yeah.
And so like I wouldn't even try to do a Japanese accent because I'm not sure what that sounds like. But it's always like followed with like begins with like someone looking both ways. Like, oh, is somebody coming? I'm going to talk like I'm Asian. It's like, no, I think we're good. I don't need to imitate it. You know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah.
They're always some like totally cartoonish version of it.
Yeah.
And usually like just borderline racist.
Yeah. I think 90% of things, if you're trying to mimic someone else, it just comes off racist.
Yeah, exactly. So, okay, so you're of your favorite, would you say you're an Australian? Like you meet somebody, they're beautiful. They walk. Okay, you're at a karaoke bar. You're singing "Rolling in the Deep" by Adele. Okay. Up walks this guy, and he says, "I've been staring at you all night." He is a millionaire. He would
gosh.
No, he would love to have you and your daughter. He wants to marry you that day. What accent does he have? Of those.
Yeah, I'd have to say Australian.
Really? Does he look like Thunder from Down Under?
Yeah, no. He's probably has like long flowy beach hair and like is not wearing a shirt and he's super shiny.
Yes.
And like, of course, chiseled. Like he's from Australia.
Yeah.
So he's chiseled, of course, because all he does is surf and make surfboards. So yeah, that's what he looks like. It's like sun-bleached blonde with like curly beach wave hair.
And he wants to find the ways of love from an American woman.
Yeah. Yep. He worships the ground I walk on because that's just how it is. Yeah, it'd be Australian. I can't say British is pretty good, but like Australian for sure.
Because I know somewhere deep down in my heart, I still love you.